Well, hello everybody in Medellin. I'm sorry that I'm not there with you in person because I love Colombia, but I'm glad to be able to join you via Skype video because truthfully, this is one of those new low carbon ways of doing things that we're going to have to get better at. We can't keep flying every place we need to go. And so it's good that sometimes we're able to utilize technologies like this. On the other hand, I'm glad that you guys are all there in person because it's awfully important that people are taking up this question of how to build cities so that they work. In a world where most people live in cities, urban policy is among the most important challenges that we face. And one of the places where we can really make progress, because city governments don't get stuck always the same way that national governments do. I've seen this firsthand. I remember 25 years ago, probably, spending a long time, months, in the city of Curitiba in Brazil, which was probably the leading green city in the world, thanks to its innovative mayor, Jaime Lerner, and where they were busy pioneering things that have spread out around the world in the subsequent couple of decades. Maybe most importantly, bus rapid transit, BRT, which is one of those ideas that now, having seen it first in Curitiba, now I've seen it on pretty much every continent as people begin to figure out how we can make public transit really work. It worked best in Curitiba because the leadership in the city was willing to say, we're making a choice here. Buses will be more important than cars. And that allowed it to really, but even in places where leaders have lacked that kind of courage, you can still see the effects of these kind of changes. Are they coming fast enough? No, they're not. We know that many of our cities are losing the battle against air pollution, for instance. And even those cities that we thought had begun to win that battle are now having new problems. Los Angeles, which worked harder to clean its air than any city in the world probably, has had an increase in smog and pollution the last couple of years. And that's not because they're getting more emissions, it's because the temperature of the planet is getting warmer, and that's causing the pollution that still comes out of tailpipes and factories to do more damage. That's happening all over the world. Cities are feeling the effects of climate change in so many other ways. Any city on a coast is having now to really start figuring out what's going to happen as the sea level rises. Any city on a river is now having to figure out how to deal with flood. 2 months after the great Paris climate conference last year, the city of Paris got rainfall so severe that the Seine flooded to the point that they had to move paintings out of the first floor of the Louvre Art Museum. Even our great cultural artifacts are feeling the effects of this most powerful change. That means that we need to work more quickly. It means we need to move towards renewable energy at a whole new pace. Cities can really help with this. In some cities now have started to ban new fossil fuel infrastructure. Portland, Oregon, for instance. And that's a very, very good idea because it then forces utilities and others to move to sun and wind more speedily. I've been in cities in China where they've managed to put solar hot water heaters on the roof of virtually every building in town. That's remarkable leadership. We also need to continue this beautiful trend of making cities more livable so people are drawn to them, because cities are, by nature of their density and efficiency, much more ecological than the suburban model that took over in the US. And so it always makes me really happy to be in cities like, just sort of world-leading cities like Stockholm or Copenhagen, and see that they've managed to make the place so attractive that people are there on their bikes, on public transit, making them into the model cities of the future, even though they're old. maybe that's where I should end. We used to have this idea that we were going to have modern cities of the future. I think that that's less true. I think what we're going to have are many of the cities we have now. And the question is, are we going to concentrate on making them livable with the many quite simple tools that we have available? The bike path, the bus, the solar panel, the windmill, the pedestrian plaza. If we're able to keep taking those elements and expanding them ever outward, then we can have cities that really are different and cities that really do make a difference for the planet. Thank you all very much.